Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
All right, people. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is having a fantastic night. It is about 1 o'clock in the morning, so we're like around that hour where little creepy things will start happening, kind of like little off the wall paranormal stuff. So they say out here in these nightly times, but today today, whatever. We are doing a reaction to, seven horror stories animated by a creator known as Wanzi Entertainment. That would be WANSEE Entertainment. You can find him on YouTube and anywhere else if he is applicable. Um, he makes these animations, these scary animations. I do kind of find them creepy. I will assume that the rest of you would if you actually do watch these. But yeah, today we're gonna react to some. Let's see how it goes from here. Uh, as y'all already know what it is, this is Faisal Vibes. If you like the content, go ahead and follow, like, share, do whatever you have to do just to kind of get the word out that your boy is out here. You know what I mean? But without further ado, here we are. 7 horror stories animated. Let's get it.
This happened in 2012 when I was 10 years old.
Oh.
My family of 7 had just moved into a new house in a sketchy neighborhood. There had already been several arrests on our block, and some houses had even been destroyed by fire. The house itself was old, very old. The basement looked like something out of the Italian catacombs. It was completely unfinished, with nothing but dirt for a floor. When we moved in, we noticed the basement door had been locked with a chain from the inside. That should have been our first warning. There was also a lot of windows throughout the house. To get from my room to the bathroom, I had to walk past the kitchen and the back door. Anyone who grew up in a rough area knows how unsettling it is to walk past uncovered windows at night. That detail.
Okay. Alright. I'm not going to be pausing it like every other, 5 seconds, but I do kind of want to make this clear that, as I say, these stories will usually be true. But my thing is, there will never be a time, personally, like this is me, there would never be a time where I would go out my way and move into a house that I know is having problems or issues. That again, though, in this type of world, people, would take whatever they can get just to kind of get by, through these times. And that's not to judge those people, but me personally, I don't think I have the stones to do that. Especially if we have a basement door that is chained on itself. I mean, I'm the one moving into the house, and the real estate agent, anyone who introduces me to the house should be, kind of fixing those problems, or at least not making those like there, because from what I know, that can like kind of mess up sales, you feel me? But that's just my take on that.
Will matter later. I shared a room with my older brother Nick. I was always a pretty paranoid kid and had trouble falling asleep, which is embarrassing to admit, but I used a nightlight until I was 12. One night, around 3 a.m., I woke up with a full bladder. I tried to ignore it, but the urge became unbearable. I hesitated, gathering my courage, before finally making my way to the bathroom. I walked slowly, cautiously checking every window as I passed. Everything seemed normal. I took a few more steps and turned into the living room, and my heart sank. A homeless-looking man stood at...
See, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I can kind of see every different female screaming at the moment, at the very sight of that. Imagine you walking, like you already on edge. Like most people who grew up in, like, let's say like rural areas, what they call the trenches and stuff like that. Like imagine growing up in those areas, all right? And it's already dark, street lights kind of blown out, whatever. And, you have to go to the bathroom. Everyone knows what it's like to get a good night's sleep and you just got that full bladder that's kind of trying to wake you up. You feel me? So imagine trying to like go all the way to the bathroom, or you know, walk into the bathroom and you look at that back door and you see a grown bearded man just like looking at you through the window like, hey, I see you. Like, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Me personally, hey, let's just say that I'm not that much of a man, you feel me? Well, let's get back to it.
Our back door, his hands cupped around his eyes as he peered inside. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Then, moving as silently as I could, I ducked behind the couch. My mind raced. Did he see me? I needed to wake up Nick. He was 3 years older than me and had a cell phone. I didn't. I began crawling toward our room when I heard something that made my stomach drop. The back door lock turned. This man, this stranger, had a key to our house.
What?
For the first time in my life,
Oh,
I
no,
whispered,
bro.
Shit. I pressed myself tighter against the couch, barely daring to breathe. The door creaked open.
Man.
The man stepped inside, moving carefully, quietly, as if he had done this before. He was tall, around 6'2", with a long, graying beard that reached his chest. A hat and a hoodie concealed most of his face. He walked into the kitchen and opened our pantry, casually pulling out a bag of chips. Then, without hesitation, he unbolted the basement door and disappeared down the stairs, leaving it unlocked. For a moment, I just sat there, paralyzed. Then, panic set in. I realized something terrifying. He would hear my footsteps if I tried to move. My mind raced for a solution. I spotted my little sister's blanket draped over the couch. Carefully, I pulled it toward me and slid my feet onto it, using it to muffle my steps as I made my way toward the kitchen. The basement door was only a few feet away. I swallowed hard and whispered to myself, screw it. Then I sprinted. I reached the door and slammed the bolt shut, just as I heard heavy footsteps pounding up the basement stairs. A loud thud rattled the door. I turned and bolted up the stairs leading to my parents' bedroom, grabbing a knife from the kitchen counter as I ran. I shook my dad awake, my whole body trembled.
Okay. My bad, y'all. But let's be real here. First off, first red flag. Why would you move into a house where they haven't changed the locks? That's one thing. Like, I feel like any, like, showcase house or, you know, any house that's, like, you know, being sold to people or whatnot, locks should automatically be changed. That's like, no, there's no, like, dispute in it. Locks should automatically be changed. No one should have a key. No person on the outside should have a key to a house that they don't live in, bro. Second, can we like look at how he just has the knife over his like look at that, bro. Like, come on, man. Like the dad like, hey, what you doing? What you got the knife in here for? He like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad, I gotta do it. I must do it. It's a crazy man in the house. I must put you out your misery. Oh man, bro. This is crazy. This is actually really crazy. I do know the situation with squatters. That's like one thing. Squatters in this country going on around. Sometimes you do feel bad. Other times, you know, it's like, man, you know, especially when you have kids, I feel like some people, you know, if you're having a rough time, man, sometimes you really got to think about it, man. Like, is it really worth breaking into people's house just to kind of have it your way? You feel me? Sometimes, you know, we do lose our sense of self and we don't really have a lot of morals after we kind of hit a certain point of our life. But, you know, hey, that's the world. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. I just hope that a squatter won't run up in my house when I have my children around.
There's a man in the basement, I managed to stammer. My dad shot up instantly, grabbing the knife from my hand. He was a military veteran, a big guy who worked out every day. If anyone could handle this, it was him.
Oh, man.
My mom, meanwhile, called the police. They said they were 5 minutes away. She didn't want to leave my little sister downstairs, so she took my hand, and together we made our way back to the kitchen. Just as we stepped onto the floor, the basement door exploded open. The man tackled my dad, sending them both crashing to the ground.
Bro, come on,
They
man.
struggled, fists flying, my dad trying to pin him down. I didn't think, I just reacted. I sprinted to the kitchen, grabbed another knife, and rushed toward them. My hands shook, but I raised the blade, ready to stab the man.
Give it to me!
My mom shouted. I hesitated but handed her the knife. Without missing a beat, she stabbed the man in the back. He let out a strangled cry, giving my dad the chance to overpower him. My dad flipped him over, pinning him face down with his arms locked behind his back. I stood there, panting, my heart hammering in my chest. Then the sirens. The police stormed inside. My siblings, now awake, ran into the room, screaming at the sight of the blood-streaked floor. My older sisters pulled me into a hug, wiping away my tears as I shook uncontrollably. The man survived the stabbing and was taken to the hospital before being arrested. But the scariest part, we never figured out how he had a key to our house.
Yeah,
That night
I want to know
still
that too.
haunts me. I don't know what he wanted. I don't know how long he had been coming and going. And I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't locked that basement door
Bro,
in time.
this is crazy.
But I do know one thing. My mom didn't let me stab him because she didn't want me to carry that weight for the rest of my life. And for that, I'll always be grateful.
Facts. Hey,
Hello,
man.
my name is Hayden. This happened to me about a year ago when I was 17. It was the middle of the day, and I was at a rehearsal for a sketch comedy group. It was lunchtime, and my friend, let's call him Ron, asked if I wanted to go with him to get something to eat. I agreed, got in the passenger seat of his car, and we started looking for a fast food place. Ron spotted a Wendy's nearby and asked if I wanted to eat there. I said, sure. When we got inside, there was a short line. One person in the line stood out to me. There's a man who looked to be in his mid-20s, African-American with a hoodie, gray sweatpants, and sandals. He looked normal, nothing out of the ordinary, but I had a gut feeling that there was something wrong here. Something about it just felt off. When it was our turn to order, the man left through a side door that was on the opposite side of the building from the entrance that we had used. We ordered our food, and Ron chose a table that was right next to the door the man had just left through. We sat down across from each other. I looked out the window, and I noticed that there was a red bike parked right outside, but I didn't think anything of it. I reached into my bag to grab my food. When I looked back up at Ron, I froze. The man was outside the window, staring at Ron from behind. His eyes were wide, bloodshot. Creeped me out, to say.
Creep me. Creep me out, he says. I feel like these stories really do put like I guess like a sense of realization in this world, in this reality, because you never really could. I don't think a lot of people can comprehend just how many like strange and odd people there are in this world. And unfortunately, there is I would say there's an even number amount of just as many. All right, how do I say it? There is just as many strange and odd people than there are of level-headed, natural people, so to speak. Like, and right here, this is one of the examples. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think I've had I probably had maybe like a couple of experiences like this, but not as deep as these. These experiences are on another level. I don't even know how I will react to situations like this, like, to be honest with y'all. It's kind of like one of those things, so it'd just be like, how do I react? Like, do I just jump over the table or go through that glass and punch him square in the face, or what's gonna happen, you know what I mean? But
The least. Ron hadn't noticed him, but then I saw something that scared me. On his back was a holster,
Machete.
and in that holster was a machete.
Yup.
I looked back at Ron, lowered my voice. Ron, don't look behind you. There's a man staring at you from outside, and he has a machete. Ron's expression changed, but he didn't panic. He simply sat there and said, okay. We sat there quietly, not knowing what to do other than wait for the man
Look
to
at
leave.
that door,
We
bro.
looked at each other and started to smile and giggle uncomfortably to lighten the mood. The man finally moved after about a minute or two, and I watched him to see where he would go. He moved around to the back of the restaurant.
That man is going through Residence of Evil 5 sort of mental episode right now, bro. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Pressed his face up against another window. Again, he stared at us with these wide, bloodshot eyes, and I could see the handle of the machete clearly. I tried to think of what I should do next, so I got up and went up to an employee, told him what was happening, and asked him to call the police. He gave me this lazy look and said that, I will. I went back to my seat and got an idea. I wanted to take a picture of the man to show the police, but I didn't want the man to know it. So I took out my phone and aimed it at Ron while very subtly angling it to get that creepy man in the background. Smile, I said to Ron. He seemed to understand what I was implying, and he faked a pose. After taking the pictures, I noticed that the few other people in the restaurant still somehow hadn't noticed this man, so I got up and told them. And when they saw him, I could tell that they were frightened. They started to talk amongst themselves about what should they do. Well, I thought of
Okay, look. Okay, look. This is one of those things so I would say, like, we do live in a world where people's situational awareness is, like, at its absolute lowest. Like, people, if for windows to be that big, I feel like it's like one of those things where, like, it don't matter how obvious some things are. Just most people wouldn't catch it. You know what I mean? Like, I say if any of you want to really, like, kind of understand or have a experience like that, just go to a car wash. A lot of people will see a big sign that says go neutral or, you know, stop here or something like that, and they would do everything except stop, go neutral, or anything else. They would. It's like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of people just don't have that, like, you know, that ability. You know what I mean? Like, you know, some people are born with that gift. Others aren't. You know, all we have to do, I guess, is just accept them for who they are, you know.
about trying to leave, but with the man outside, I did not want to take that risk, knowing who knows what he would do if we tried to leave. The man could also easily come inside and do God knows what, and I realized that we were pretty much trapped. The man still had his face pressed up against the glass, standing perfectly still, staring at us with these wide, bloodshot eyes. I soon realized that the worker had never actually called the police, because if he had, they would have been there by that time. So I got annoyed and decided to take things into my own hands. I took out my phone again and I dialed 911. As soon as I did, the man moved. My heart dropped. The man started to circle his way back around to the side door next to our table. I thought that he was going to come inside. Instead, luckily, he got on that bike that was parked right outside our window, and he rode away. I watched as he rode behind another building, and I breathed this sigh of relief. Ron got the restaurant manager while I described what the man looked like to the police. He told me that they would look for him, but they probably wouldn't be able to charge him with anything since he technically hadn't really committed any crimes.
Ah, my gosh,
do is-
bro. It's so crazy. My mother was just telling me about that, bro. We, in this society, the fact, okay. I feel like there should be probable suspicion. I feel like that should be a thing. Like, when it comes down to trying to investigate people like that, there should be no reason why cops are saying, we can't arrest him because he technically didn't do anything wrong. So wait a minute. So y'all have to, the only way to make an arrest is if they have to make an attempt on someone's life or actually take a person's life in order for there to be like some sort of arrest. First of all, the man is running around with the machete just latched on his back. That should automatically be a red flag. There's no like ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's like, that's like, I mean, they don't even let people walk around with their, you know, they don't let people walk around with handguns just hanging out, you know what I mean, like just brandishing out or whatnot. I mean, you will get charged for that, but when it come down the machetes, oh no, he ain't technically commit a crime, so we can't really do anything to him. Like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And it's scary to think that in this world, and then they wonder why there's a lot of vigilantism going on around, going on right now. Cause like, look, let's respect our men in blue, men and women in blue, but their rules, their whole thing is kind of useless. You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to really trying to like protect the public. Because a lot of people feel like that they got to protect themselves before they actually call the police. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when they're dealing with something like this. Like, who's to say that, he's not going to come back and come after them? You know what I mean? This is how so many people end up, like, getting hurt. You know what I mean? Losing their lives or worse, going missing. You feel me? I don't know. I feel like a lot of this stuff we should learn from and really, like, make some sort of change. I don't know.
Ban him from the location. The police told us to stay put until they called back, so Ron and I sat down back at our table to finish our meal. And while we were eating, I was obviously afraid that the man would come back, but luckily he never did. We saw police in their cars outside searching for him. And when the police finally called back, they told me that they couldn't find anyone who fit the description I gave them, but they were sure it was safe to leave. So I thanked them and hung up. When we finished our food, we carefully stepped outside and...
Wait a minute. They couldn't find the person. The person that's on the picture. But they can assure them that it's safe to leave. You know what? Hey, it is what it is, man. Ain't nothing to say about that.
Looked around to make sure that the man was truly gone. Then we dashed for the car, drove back to theater practice. I had to call our director and explain why we were 30 minutes late. When we got back, Ron and I had a good laugh about it with our friends about the experience, but I'm 18 now and the man has still never been caught. Ron and I still like to talk about the story from time to time. We think that he was definitely some sort of mentally ill, and I'm pretty sure that he was on some sort of drugs since his eyes were so bloodshot. I try to think of logical reasons for why he could possibly have a machete. Like, maybe he was a gardener or something, but that really still wouldn't explain his weird behavior. I'm sure he didn't have any good intentions, and I'm glad the series of events ended up playing out the way that it did, because things could have ended up much, much worse.
I grew up in the Philippines, and as a kid, I was always climbing tall trees, getting into mischief, and running around the countryside. That wild, curious energy pretty much defined my childhood. I was about 10 years old, just lounging in my room, bored and restless. Then something outside caught my eye. There was a rambutan tree, its bright red fruit ripe and ready to be picked. The tree stood next to an old set of ruins near my house, a place we were always told to stay away from, but never really listened. I climbed up the rambutan tree, completely focused on my prize. I sat on one of the branches and started eating, with sweet juice dripping down my chin. That's when I saw something move. In the shadowy window of the ruins, something flickered, just for a second,
Clean out of them.
then vanished. I rubbed my eyes, thinking I was seeing things. That place had been abandoned for years. No one lived there. No one could live there. As I was finishing my first piece of fruit, it happened again. Only this time, it didn't vanish. It stopped, and it stared back at me. Two figures were standing in the broken window.
Aw, man, y'all. It's Raphael, Leonardo. They don't look right, but hey, they came back. Y'all know how that went with them, man. We didn't even talk about that, man. I don't know if anyone really seen the comics, but just know that this will have some correlation to that.
They were humanoid, but not quite. Their skin was leathery, their bodies round and bulky, and their backs were covered in something that looked like a turtle shell. Their eyes glowed red, and their mouths, if you could call them that, were jagged like a snapping turtle's jaw. A chill raced down my spine, and my whole body locked up in fear. I lost my grip and fell. I hit the ground hard, scraped up and bruised. I scrambled to my feet and ran barefoot all the way home. I didn't care about the pain. I didn't feel it. I didn't care that I'd left my slippers behind. I just knew I had to get away. I never told my family what happened. I figured they wouldn't believe me, or worse, they wouldn't care. Years passed, and I almost convinced myself it had just been my imagination. Then, one day, I was talking to my grandmother, and she started reminiscing about an old house nearby, one that had been abandoned for decades. I asked her why no one ever bought the place. Her answer stopped me cold. "Well," she said, "I can't blame them. 2 people hung themselves in that house." I didn't say a word, but in my head, all I could see were those 2 turtle-like creatures standing in that ruined window watching me. After she told me that, I remember going home and drawing pictures of what I saw. The house, the figures, the glowing red eyes. A constant reminder that it wasn't just my imagination, and that it was reality.
I mean, you know, that actually
This
would
is
be
a story
creepy.
my grandmother told us that took place when I was 7 years old. To give you all a brief background, my grandma, during the late years of her career, worked for a prestigious family. She was in charge of the checks that every heir of that family must receive in a specific time frame, and everything that has to do with these wealthy heirs. So my granny was well acquainted with everyone there. She worked in one of the many abodes of that family. We're talking about old money suites with all the old-fashioned furnace and expensive porcelain porches with a circular entrance around an old fountain, Corinthian walls and gargoyles. It's what we call today a Gothic mansion, a typical haunted house. The interior is dusty, since the family doesn't
Addams
really
Family
visit there
house.
anymore. It's only being kept clean by the maids and the house caretaker. My grandmother's office is located right at the entrance. Large wall windows from ceiling to floor covered by thick velvet curtains. The view from the windows expands the whole gate entrance and the fountain, as well as the second entrance through the garden. Granny really has a 90-degree view of the whole place. Keep in mind that both of the only entrances to the mansion are guarded by security, and my granny can see the people that are entering even before they knock on the door, since she keeps the curtains open always. After school, me and my cousin, 5 at the time, come to this place instead of going straight home, since the caretaker of the mansion was kind and let us play by the garden and the driveway. But this particular day, we stayed inside the mansion and were just playing by the fireplace, just across from my grandma's desk. I remember I saw my grandma look through the windows and stand abruptly, telling us that someone's coming and we must behave. She exited the large doors and proceeded to greet the 2 women that had already passed the gate, which is weird because the guards should have alerted her about them already, and she would have heard the old squeaky gates being opened to let them into the premise. But she brushed it off, offered a smile to these 2 people, thinking they must be the new heirs that her boss told her to expect that week. But as they were gradually approaching, my
man, I would
grandmother
have
noticed that one of the women...
Man, if look at her, bro, and look at her. Both of them would have to have walked straight back over there where they had came, man. I'm not even gonna like lie to y'all, bro. They would have walked, like took the walk all the way back past that gate out of my area, bro. I'm not taking no chance, especially that blonde one, bro. Look at her, bro. You already know she not up to no good, man.
was glaring at her with a scowl that sent shivers through her spine, while the other was smiling so sweetly at her. Nonetheless, she greets them. Hello, but they didn't return the greeting, just stood
Bro,
there,
look at the
half
blonde
walking
one,
steps.
bro. What?
It was only then that she saw what they were wearing. Now, this story took place on the years 2008, 2010-ish.
Some
The
people
women
just
were
have
wearing
way too
long,
much patience,
black
man.
dresses with laces and high necks. My grandmother thought it was weird, but just told them to come inside so they
Come
could
inside? Come inside? They would never have stepped foot on the porch. You see the blood, bro. Bro, come on, man. The blonde one ain't up to no good, bro. Look at her. She has an upside down crucifix on her face, bro. Come on, man. Oh my gosh, they talking about come inside, man. And then you got children in the house. So you know what?
access the insurance of the checks in her office. She turned her back on them, pushed the heavy door
Turned her
inside
back
again,
on them? She
leaving it
just
open
doing
to let them
anything.
through, and just briskly walked to her desk, past me and my cousin.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Hey, if you a fan of Final Fantasy,
Take
man,
it
check
easy.
that out, 'cause I've never
She was
played it
expecting
before.
them to follow her in, but several minutes passed, and not one shadow of the guests entered the mansion. Grandma sighs, glanced out the windows, expecting to see the guests still standing outside, but to her shock, she saw no one there. I don't remember much from back then, but my grandma said that me and my cousin were staring through the open doors as if we were seeing somebody, and I pointed toward the door, saying, "Aren't you gonna come inside?" My
Aw,
grandmother
man.
whipped her head to the window again, praying that maybe
Bro.
she just missed it the first time. But still, there were no women dressed in these weird clothes outside. She could see the gates from where she was standing, and to her horror, they were locked in deadbolt. These locks can only be opened with keys that the guards, the caretakers, and my grandmother had. My grandmother shakily walked toward the front door, where me and my cousin kept staring, still. But when she turns around, there was no one there as well. She looked at us confusedly, but me and my cousin are both in our own worlds again. My grandma frantically ran outside to check that she wasn't going crazy, that what she saw couldn't be what she thought it was. When she reached the front gates, the guard stationed there asked her what was wrong. She immediately accused him. Why didn't he notify her when two guests arrived? The guard looked at
What do you mean? I mean, well, that again, she didn't know that they were like, I guess you could say ghosts. But I'm gonna be honest, it was almost like she was like just so unaware of their presence. Like, dude, those two girls could have been like literally anything. They could have been murderers, thieves, anything. She gonna turn her back on them. That's one. She's gonna invite them inside. That's two. That's like, come on, man. You don't blame the guards. You're not even like, you know what I'm saying?
her in confusion and told her no one had come the whole afternoon. The gate had been locked since the morning when she arrived. She paled, told him about the encounter, reasoning that maybe they entered through the second entrance around the garden. But the guard insisted that that's impossible, since the gate hasn't been used forever. It's been sealed shut. My grandmother, now lightheaded, called her other office mate to come to the office immediately because she felt sick to her stomach. She doesn't want to admit it yet. And when her office mate comes unbothered, carrying two large boxes, and sees how pale my grandmother was, she asks worriedly if she needs someone to drop us off at home because my grandma did not look good. But my grandma told me she's fine, asked what was in the boxes. The office mate told her that it was some old albums that their boss gave them to dispose of in the old mansion, and some trinkets that are deemed useless to this wealthy family. They browsed the old albums together, me and my cousin included. It was full of these black and white pictures dated early 1900s. But when we opened one of the albums, my grandmother shook violently, started muttering curses and prayers. When her coworker asked her, "What is wrong?" she told her the incident a while ago and said, "That's them." In one of the old pictures dated 1912,
Man, the
two
blonde
women
one,
arm in arm.
bro, the blonde one just, I don't know what it is. It might just be me, but it's not the blonde one I'm really tripping about, nor this, whatever this is. But what's up with her, bro? Bro, it's like she took something really good, man, and just been having a good time, like, no matter what, bro. Like, she just, wherever she goes, bro, she looks exactly like this, bro. She just has to take whatever she's taking just to look like this, man. Like, this is crazy. And this one right here, they're like two like polar opposites. Like it's so crazy. You got one with dark hair, the other one with blonde hair, light and day. Except the one that's like night. I mean night and day. My bad. The one that's night is smiling. The one that's day is like frowning. It's crazy.
One smiling, one frowning, dressed in exactly those long black dresses. But what made my grandma absolutely lose it was when my cousin giggled beside me and pointed to the girls, saying, "They have feet here! They were missing them a while ago."
Oh, man.
This story happened to me back in 2014 when I was in 4th grade. Back in the day, all of my classmates and I used to talk about this fictional horror character called Slender Man. You might be familiar. He appeared in some of the horror movies that were made at the time, so everyone at school knew about him. Anyway, one night I was sleeping alone in my room when I had this nightmare about Slender Man. In the dream, I was at the local aquatic center getting ready for my swimming lessons. Then I saw Slender Man standing in the middle of the hallway between the locker rooms, just looking at me. He started chasing me. I ran as fast as I could in the dream and woke up just before he could touch me. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end there. I ran to my parents' bedroom with my heart beating like crazy. I told them about this bad dream and asked if I could sleep near them. My parents agreed and let me sleep in the middle of their room. I think it was about 30 minutes before I woke up to this loud noise. My dad woke up too and figured out that the house's fire alarm had been going off for about a minute. My parents checked around the house, searching for any signs of fire, but there was nothing wrong. So at this point, I was really scared. But my parents went back to sleep, and eventually, so did I. My parents told me that the fire alarm was faulty, and that's why it went off randomly in the middle of the night. But this had never happened before in our entire life staying in this house. Since then, the small part of me has always wondered if there was a connection between my nightmare and that seemingly random malfunction.
Okay. I kind of want to address this real quick, but with Slender Man, bro, what happened to him? There's has been no talk about Slender Man. I don't even think he's in any video games. But yeah, let's get back into this.
This happened back in 2015. I lived way out in the country, miles from town, with no real neighbors nearby. So seeing a random person walking around our property, that would already be strange, and that's exactly what happened. My dad was outside when a man came out of nowhere and offered him a Pepsi. Just like that, no introduction, no explanation, just,
"Want a Pepsi?"
My dad said no, smartly, because who knows what could have been in that drink. After he declined, the man left. Later that day, we were heading into town. My mother, father, my two sisters and I all piled into the truck, ready to make a quick Walmart run. Now, to give you a little background, we're surrounded by orchards out here. Almonds, pistachios, grapes, endless rows of trees in every direction. So, to get to town, we have to take this long dirt trail winding through all that farmland. As we were driving, we passed something that made all of us go quiet. A black van. It had curtains drawn across the windows, like someone was hiding something. And the smell, I can't even explain it. Rotten, chemical, and sharp, all at once. It made your eyes water. The man behind the wheel was dressed all in black, wearing dark sunglasses, even though the sun was setting. And when he looked at us, he smiled. Not a friendly smile, a smile that made your skin crawl. I knew right then something wasn't right. We made it to Walmart, did our shopping, and came home. But as we pulled up to our driveway, something felt off. There were fresh tire marks in the dirt, footprints too, but we brushed it off People work the orchards around here all the time, probably just workers passing through, or so we thought. That evening, my older sister pointed something out, flashes of red and blue in the sky. We all ran outside and saw a helicopter flying overhead. Now that was strange. Helicopters are rare in our small town. We had no idea what it was doing here, and we all just stood there, watching it pass in silence. But the next morning, everything made sense.
Oh, wow.
It became horribly clear. We woke up to the news. A body had been found in a canal not far from us. Severed, fingers missing, eyes gouged. And when they released his photo, it was the man who had offered my dad that Pepsi. That man, the one just wandering around our property. He was the victim, and the killer, the man in the black van, the one with the smile, the one we passed on that trail just hours earlier. We watched in silence, stunned. Every red flag we had ignored the day before now burned into our memory. We had looked into the eyes of a murderer, but we just kept driving.
True peekaboo.
This is a true story from when I was about 4 years old. According to my mother, I suffered from sleep disorders that led to some weird behavior when I was a kid. My father was always working and doesn't remember much about it, but my mother and brother do. According to them, whenever I walked past an empty house, I would ring the doorbell and say,
Peekaboo will open the door.
They also said that sometimes I would stare down a hallway and whisper,
There's Peekaboo over there.
The figure I claimed to see was called Peekaboo, a boy with messy, disheveled hair and tattered clothing. Like a worn-out doll stitched back together, he would shout,
Peekaboo!
in a high-pitched voice, and just hearing it would send chills down my spine. The scariest moments happened when I would wake up screaming, as if my lungs were about to burst. My mother would rush to me, and I'd cry.
Peekaboo, he's coming for me.
This is what I remember. I was sleeping in the master bedroom, a square room with a walk-in bathroom. Peekaboo would stand silently in the bathroom doorway, staring at me, and then suddenly bolt toward me, screaming,
Peekaboo!
That's when I would wake up. This continued for 2 years. Then, just like that, it stopped. Around the same time, my parents were going through a divorce, and my mother eventually left our home. Afterward, I split time between my mom's house and my dad's house. When I was about 10 years old, I asked my mom if she remembered anything about that strange house. She looked at me with a serious expression and said, Emmett, that house was built on a spiritual foundation. When I would wake up at night, I could hear something moaning and growling under my bed and beneath the master bedroom. I felt like I was going to throw up when I heard that. Who was the boy I saw? Who was Peekaboo? Was it the devil, or was it something else? I guess I'll never really know.
Some pure holy water, Eddie. Alright, y'all. And that's the end of that. Make sure y'all follow this man. He's the one who makes the animations. You know what I mean? But you know what? I feel like we need something a little bit more scary. You know what I mean? Something more like aggressive. Something that's kind of gonna like make chills. Something that's like scary that's gonna like jump at us. You know what I mean? So let's see. I'm thinking. I don't know. VHS horror tapes. I think that's something. F&F horror.
Well, hello. This documentation is case 1987. Today's task is a paranormal investigation at Freddy Fazbear's part of the Fazbear Entertainment Group. there has been multiple records by various staff members and customers that felt strangely unnerved and threatened within the presence of the 4-stage animatronics, which seemed to be quite reasonable. They could have made them at least looking a bit friendlier, especially that one though. Anyways, some people even claim to have saw movement and hearing childlike noises coming out of these machines. Normal, the company seems to ignore this. But after recent incidents where a guest was injured during one of the stage performances, they hired me and want me to make sure that there is nothing wrong with them. Alright.
Okay, first off, how much is the pay? You know what? Scratch that. There's not enough money in the world for me to be sitting in a dark, dank room with animatronic robots. I never, even as a kid when I went to Chuck E. Cheese, I never liked the animatronic Chucky, man. Or any of them at that. I was really afraid of Chucky, though. Like, there's not enough money that they can pay me to do this, especially on my own. Oh, nah, y'all crazy, man. And then they're all sitting in the same room.
That seems to be it. I'm going to build up my setup, then when I get onto the actual investigation, I'll be back in a second. Welcome back. Everything is set up and should be visible on camera. So let's begin with turning the EMF reader and the temperature meter on. So the room temperature is settled at -5. So currently at the time of this recording, it's the middle of summer. This isn't a cooling room and also doesn't seem to have any air conditioning either. So in conclusion, this could already be an indicator that there might be an entity present here. I'll write this down real quick. Alright, next up, let's see if they react to light. I will shine it directly at them, one by one. Let's start. Good. So far, nothing. The bear seems to be in the clear.
The bear.
Alright, next one.
Bear? Okay. I know that this is all just like tapes or, you know, little animations and whatnot, but I'm gonna be real with y'all, bro. Who makes robots like this, like animatronics like this? None of these are kid friendly, and they do not look appealing to children at all. Like, look at that, bro. Look at that. Like, y'all not gonna tell me that that's like something that they just finna have out for children. That's probably why they trying to investigate them. These are robotic monster robots, like, and they're not even like the fun, goofy, cartoony robots. These are the kind of robots that would give a child nightmares, bro. That's insane.
The bunny didn't have a reaction either.
Don't even know if that's a bunny.
Now the chicken one. Well, still nothing.
That's
And last but not least, the fox.
Whatever it's made out of, to have an animatronic just sitting on.
Okay, a bit of movement there. Nothing special to me though. I'm dealing with things like this on a daily basis. Like this is my job, after all. Okay, I just finished noting the last test results. Let's begin with the audio test. I prepared 3 audio tracks for today. These tracks were composed by paranormal experts to specifically attract ghosts and spirits. I'll start playing them now and see if there's any reaction.
This is like...
Starting track 1. They all seem pretty lifeless to me. So let's go on with track 2. Okay, nothing again. Track 3. Okay. Sudden movement and lights flickering. I guess I could also mention a loud noise coming from the machine. But they are probably just old and need some oiling.
This is like one of those people that just, he's like an example of society. Just as long as you have that, like, that thrill-seeking, adrenaline, dopey, druggy person, like, just as long as you have people like that, they gonna do stuff like this. Those people that like to seek a thrill, like adrenaline junkies and whatnot, like, they would do something like this. Me personally, if I was there, right, let's just say I was there. Not that I would be there in any scenario, but let's just say I was. If I was there in a room like this with these 3 creepy robots and lights start flickering and they start moving, man, the moment y'all blink, I'm not even gonna be there no more. Like, I'm not staying. Fire me. Take my check. I don't care. Go and hear me. Just like they. Talking feet slapping on the ground, everything gone. I'm not staying. You can't pay me enough. You can say all the money in the world, but you know what? All the money in the world always is always going to have a catch, and these will be one of the catches. I'm not staying. Like,
good. So now, this is the last thing I'm going to do today. Trying to make direct vocal contact through the spirit box. Hello, is there anyone in this room with me? I'm not here to harm you. I just want to talk and ask a few questions. If you can hear me, please make yourself known. Hello? If you can hear me, please make yourself known. Hello? Hello? Anything you want to tell me, maybe? Really? Nobody is in here? Okay, that's it. So sadly, I couldn't establish a direct contact with the spirit. Okay, well, I guess I'll pack things up and go on home. Tomorrow I'll bring the results to Mr. Afton.
oh yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone.
Hello? What are you?
What are you? What you mean? What do you mean? This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. What are you? Like, what? Oh, I never thought you was going. No, yes, you did. You knew exactly what was going to happen. Don't start. I can't. And look at that one. He gonna be the reason why I'm gone. Like, actually. Like, I'm gonna move so fast, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all this. Let that have been me in that situation. The only thing y'all gonna see left of me in that room is my shoes doing flips in the air. Like, I'm not sticking around. Not for any of this. They're not paying me enough, Mr. Afton. Mr. Afton is precisely the one who did this, who created these things.
Can you? Mr. Afton? I only work for him. Are you the entity haunting this place? Answer my questions, and I'll answer yours, okay?
The audacity of this man. Answer my questions and I'll answer yours. What is you, Captain America? What you just gonna beat them up? Wait, you just gonna like fight them or something? Gonna square up with them toe to toe? This man has some real nerve. Like, I got a feeling that the moment I click play, that golden one right there is going to jump in and watch this. Because me personally, I would never have took that. Not especially about not no measly adrenaline junkie human being.
Are you the entity haunting this place? Okay. Anything you want to tell me, I can maybe help you. Can you tell me what you want? I don't think so. No.
This tape will show our employees how to collect and restore old items from our
the fact that there's
items to collect.
I feel like there's really people that would sit through all of that and just allow themselves
Batteries.
to get murked completely. like it's so crazy.
Decorations.
Because I personally would never have done this.
Decorations.
This is not worth anything around me or near me or for
Things
me.
to keep in mind. 1. There could be a chance of a gas leak due to old pipes. 2. Never touch the spring bonnier suit. 3.
Oh yeah, guys, look, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Man, I heard of this all on the news, but I'm just gonna check it out because, you know, I'm just that guy, you know, Alpha Sigma Betty Male, you know what I mean? I got all the titles because I've been going through the ranks. And, yeah, welcome to my recording, guy. That's what I do here. Just checking out the establishment. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's exactly how he's definitely going to sound if he would even talk to this. Anyone who does this. It's just pitch black and he is just in there. Like, dude, for what? For what? It's like, and it's crazy because there's videos like this on YouTube that people actually walking into dark abandoned buildings like this. It's crazy. Touch you. They told you not to touch you. And you touched it. And you touched it. And you touched it. You was rubbing up on it, giving it a little kisses, and putting it to sleep. You was touching it. Bro, the glowing eyes is really what's getting me about this series. Ah, wait a minute. I think I remember this. Well, man, got what you done. I mean, hey, what goes around comes around. You know what I mean? This is insanity. Everything about this series. Oh yeah, let's just top it off with some nice music. Very distorted, nice music. Just to kind of fool the people that comes around so we can snatch them and put them in armor suits or robotic suits. This whole series is about the disembodied spirits of children and robots. So it's kind of wild.
It's time to go home, baby bird. Mommy? It's time to go home. Home. Take me home with you. No, Chica. Baby bird. No, Chica. You're scaring me.
Okay. Yep. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. I don't think I want to continue that part. I think it gets a little disturbing at that point. But yeah, you know what I mean. This is kind of gonna be our thing, you know, playing scary games. You know, I'm playing any game at that. And doing this, you know, inspiration definitely Corey Kenshin, one of my favorite YouTubers. He basically raised me. Well, he didn't raise me, but you know, y'all know it. Started off as a kid when I first watched him. It was beautiful days, beautiful days. We miss him. We definitely miss him. But aside from that, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope y'all enjoyed the stream at that. I mean, hope y'all enjoy whatever platform you're watching this on. I definitely enjoy doing this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I mean, I'm just not able to do it now but I'm definitely gonna keep on doing it just for you guys and to basically build a community of love and vibes and peace and tranquility. You know what I mean? We're all here together. This is where we come together and we just chill back and just observe things like this. Maybe not things of this nature, but But anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Peace. Hold on. I actually have to